Good afternoon, students, families, and supporters. My name is Valerie, and I work with the New Student and Transition Programs Office. We are so glad you are joining us for today's session on student life and campus recreation at SBU. During this session, we have representation from Campus Recreation and the Student Life Office. To start off this session, we will hear a little bit from each of our panelists. From there, we will open the floor for your questions. We also have our peer assistant leader, Katie, here with us today, who can answer any questions you have in the chat as we go through our presentation today. This session is being recorded, and access to the recording will be available on the same page that you logged into. Feel free to submit your questions throughout the session, and we will get to answer as many questions as we can. We will also have time at the end for our panelists to answer questions. With that, I'd like to introduce Thomas St. John and Christina DeAngelis from Campus Recreation.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Valerie. Hi, folks. My name is Tom St. John, and as Valerie mentioned, I work in recreation and wellness. I'm joined by
my name is Christina DeAngelis, and I also work in rec and wellness.
All right. And without further ado, we're just going to do a brief run through of some of our programs and offerings within rec and wellness. But first, I'd also like to introduce our colleague, our Assistant Director for Fitness and Wellness, Erin Marno.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Okay, so recreation and wellness, we are housed under student affairs, and within student affairs, we are within the Division of Student Health, Wellness, and Prevention Services, which include the following offices: Counseling and Psychological Services, or CAPS for short, the Center for Prevention and Outreach, or CPO, Student Health Services, and Disability Support Services, also known as SASE. So recreation and wellness, if you've been on campus or if you're coming on campus, you'll know our facility. It's a big red building, and it says Walter J. Harry's on it. And within that building, we're pleased to offer fitness classes, intramural club, and esports. We also manage an aquatics program. As Christina and Erin will share with you later on, we were pleased to offer a lot of cornucopia, if you will, of off-campus trips. We have an outdoor challenge course. We have over 20 acres of field space, and it should be noted we're one of the largest employers of students on campus. Also, we have an app. So if you were to go into wherever you get your apps and search Rec on the Go, you can download our app. And basically the way it works, every undergraduate student pays a student life and recreation fee. And with that fee, you have access to all the offerings that we provide through recreation and wellness. And it's important to download the app because you're able to generate a QR code to access the facility. You can also register for fitness classes, and you can sign up to receive notifications on special events and be in the know for closings and other important updates. As I mentioned, it's the big red building on campus, the Walter J. Harry's Recreation Center. So you can't miss it. We're nestled in between the student union and the sports complex, and we're located across from the chemistry building. And inside the recreation center, we've got pretty nice, very modern, very clean facilities for you. I will pass it on to Erin to discuss about fitness and wellness opportunities.
Thanks, Tom. So we offer over 35 to 40 fitness classes per week. Those are all included in that student life and wellness fee that Tom mentioned earlier. We have everything from Pink Gloves boxing to yoga to spinning to Zumba, really anything that you could want. You can find that right there. All of our instructors are student instructors. So if you are interested in becoming an instructor, that's always an option. And then we also do offer personal training, which are, again, all student trainers. So if you're interested in becoming a personal trainer, you can always reach out to me and learn more about that process. So we do offer quite a bit of opportunities for people to learn more and get involved in fitness that isn't just on your own working out at the gym, through our fitness classes and through personal training. So those are just some of the pictures that we have from some of our classes. and the studios that we have.
Great. As I mentioned, we offer intramural sports, and that is really, it's played within the university community. So it's students versus students. Undergraduate students sign up for teams. You can register to be a team captain and then invite your friends, roommates, classmates to join your team, or you can also register as a free agent and be added to a team. And like we like to say this with intramural sports, it's all about the shirt. That's because at the conclusion of all of our seasons or events, we hand out shirts to the champions. And on the left, you'll see just a brief list of the offerings that we have within intramural sports. Club sports. Club sports are different than intramural sports.
Tom, it looks like we have a raised hand.
Ooh, all right.
Edwin, I think.
Okay. I don't see the raised hand. Is there a question we want to answer now?
If you raise your hand, please take yourself off of mute.
We can do questions after the presentation, just so we have some flow.
Cool.
Thank you for raising your hand, Edwin. You can also pop a question in Q&A. Christina just answered one, but we'll give everyone a chance to ask questions afterwards.
All right.
All right, Edwin, hold your question for a few more minutes. So club sports differ than intramural sports. They're not as serious or as they don't require the same time commitment as our NCAA Seawolves or D1 sports, but they're a little more involved in intramural sports. Often our club sports have practices or they have coaches. We have over 35, 36 club sports right now. All of our club sports are funded through undergraduate student government and they're student-run organizations. And like I mentioned earlier, they practice or they meet regularly. The best part with our club sports, you don't need to have any experience. So if you always wanted to get on the water, learn how to sail, if you always wanted to play rugby, if you wanted to join a dance or cheer team or learn archery or ice hockey, you have those opportunities available to you by registering for a club sport. And new this year, we have assumed responsibility for our eSport program. In previous years, esports was a USG funded sport club, and now it is an area under recreation and wellness. And it is our newest program area. We compete in the NACE, SUNY League, and NECC. We have a dedicated space in the Club Hub, which is located in the basement of the new Student Union. We have 10 brand new Alienware Aurora R14 computers. And we're currently competing in Rocket League, League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, and Counter-Strike, a game of CS:GO. I will hand it back to my colleague, Aaron, to discuss our off-campus trips.
All right. So almost every weekend, we have a wide variety of off-campus trips that are offered for students. These are one of the few things that you do have to pay for. The trips are heavily subsidized, so you will never be paying the full price of the ticket. So you are getting a great deal when you're going on these trips. But basically, we've gone to a bunch of different sports events. So we've gone to the Islanders, the Nets, the Yankees. We do different outdoor adventure trips. So we've gone to a local zip lining and adventure park. We go horseback riding. We've done rock climbing up in the Catskills and whitewater rafting down in Pennsylvania. So there really is a very wide variety for people to come and explore New York and do different things both on and off the island, and give you guys a little bit of time to kind of explore outside of the campus life. When you go on one of these trips, everything is provided for you. So all of the transportation to and from the event, everything at the event. So you never need to bring equipment or anything like that. And typically we have snacks on the bus if it's a farther drive. So if you have any questions about anything relating to all of our off-campus trips, you can email the SBU_ExploreNewYork@stonybrook.edu. That includes all of our off-campus trips, which are a little bit more outdoor adventure and recreation based, and then all of the trips that our partner Student Engagement and Activities also offers, since they do a lot of off-campus trips as well. And yeah, so those are kind of what we do. Everything can be signed up for on the app that Tom mentioned earlier, or through our online web portal, which you can get to using our website.
Great. Thanks, Erin. As I mentioned, we have an outdoor challenge course that opened up in 2017. So from time to time, student groups, athletic teams, Camp Res halls, they will reach out to us and we'll put together a program of team building and group initiatives. We have a pool that we operate in collaboration with our friends in athletics that also opened in 2017. So we have open swim times 3 times a day. You'll have access to lockers and showers. And we also have the pool staffed with lifeguards. Right now, there is no Learn to Swim program in place. However, one may be in the works in the near future. As I mentioned, we are one of the larger employers on campus. And here are a list of some of our positions. Erin mentioned fitness instructors and personal trainers. But with the Walter J. Harries Recreation Center being as large as it is, we're largely a student-run building. So we hire a lot of students to help maintain the building, make the rounds, make sure that our policies are being adhered to, making sure that you, the student, the member, is having a great experience in the facility. We hire lifeguards. We always need officials to help us manage our intramural contests. We hire supervisors to lead to supervise the facility, all of our programming, including intramural and club sports. We hire marketing staff. And of course, with over 20 acres of field space, we hire supervisors and leaders to manage our facility rentals. And a final push, I guess, or at least I'll mention it. When you work with us, you learn some great experience, great skills that you can take with you and develop along your journey through Stony Brook University, including customer service, communication skills, problem solving, decision-making skills. And we put you in a position to really work on your leadership and interpersonal relationship ability. So it's a pretty cool place, and we look forward to seeing you on campus very soon. And lastly, if you want to give us a follow on our Instagram, it's at SBU Rec and Wellness. And below you'll see some email addresses as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If anyone has any questions specifically for campus recreation, feel free to throw them in the Q&A right now. But we will have time after the Student Life Office presents to field questions, both for campus recreation and for student life. So feel free to throw those in the Q&A for now, and then we'll have some questions answered live at the end. From there, I'd like to introduce Victoria Zito from the Office of Student Life.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Tori Zito. I'm the Assistant Director of Marketing and Communications for Student Life. So I'm going to give a brief overview of the Office of Student Life, and then my colleagues will hop on to give a little bit more overview about their departments. I am just having a tech issue again, so sorry. I'm just going to pull up the presentation. Unless you can, Valerie, because
Do that.
okay, actually, I think
Got it?
I don't know. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the Office of Student Life is made up of about 8 different departments and then separate a little bit more. So I'm going to go into a brief overview of most of these departments, and then we'll go further into some other ones. The only one that doesn't have a slide is Student Life Central. That consists of myself, the AD for marketing, our budget administrator, our new senior director of strategic initiatives, the dean of students, which is Dean Rick McClendon. So you'll see him around campus. And then we have a new position coming, which is the assistant director of events for student affairs. And so they do a lot of the larger scale events on campus, which is homecoming, rock regatta, earthstock. So there's a lot of growth happening in student life, which is very exciting. The only other one I won't touch on that much is new student and transition programs as a part of student life. They're the department putting this on, and you'll be working with them very closely throughout orientation. So the vision of student life is to transform the co-curricular experience for every Seawolf to succeed. This just means that within student life, we're really providing a lot of opportunities to go beyond the academics. The way that I see student life as well as recreation is that we provide a lot of the fun on campus that is outside of just your schoolwork. Student centers, we have 2 student centers on campus right now, our Student Activity Center and our Stony Brook Union. These are where most of the programming on campus happens. So you'll have your ballrooms there, we have auditoriums, most of the large scale events happen there. Within the next year, we'll also be expanding student centers to include some of the buildings that have residence halls in them. So there's a lot more spaces for programming coming within the next year. Our Center for Civic Justice is the hub for civic engagement on campus. They have a food pantry in the basement of the student union for any students who are facing food insecurity. They also are responsible for registering our students to vote and hosting election day on campus. So during orientation, you'll meet with them to register to vote if you're not already registered. Our Student Media Services and WSB is our radio station on campus. The station is island-wide and can be heard across the entire island. So it is more than just a student station. And it just met its 45th year of anniversary this year. Our athletic bands are the Spirit of Stony Brook, and they are like the marching band of the school. So they performed at over 65 events on and off campus last year, including the 2022 Pride Parade. Members are accepted on a rolling basis if anyone is interested in still joining. And I'm just going to play a quick video of them.
Let's Go Stony Brook is our official fight song, written in 2006 by music department professor Harry Goldstein. Sing along with us.
So yeah, that's the Spirit of Stony Brook. You can see them on campus right before games. On Wednesdays, they walk around, they play and try to hype people up for the upcoming football and basketball games. All right, and then the last 2 departments that I'm going to go over before passing it on to my colleagues have already done virtual Q&A, so you can catch much more in-depth descriptions of their departments on the new student and transition programs YouTube, as well as Commuter Student Services has another one tomorrow that you can catch. So Commuter Student Services, really quickly, they do the annual drive-in movie. They have a commuter lounge within the library where they host weekly events, and it's just a good space for commuters to catch up with each other. They provide support for students who are renting apartments or commuting or needing any other support. And then they have a commuter assisted program that provides mentorship to commuters, very similar to the PALs and the OLs, but specifically for commuter students on campus. And then lastly, the Student Support and Family Services team is first line of support for students. So if you're having any issue on campus, you just need to talk to someone, go to the student support team. They will help you out, make you feel better, as well as resource you to the proper channels if you need additional help, whether that is because you're sick and you're in the hospital and you need someone to let your instructors know, or if you really just need someone to talk to, if there's an issue going on where your family is from, anything like that. The student support team is kind of there to help and get you further along. I'm going to pass this now on to Sixto Arias, who is our Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. As Tori said, my name is Sixto Arias. I'm the Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of our department. Currently, at the moment, we have over 30 organizations, both social and professional fraternities and sororities. So we have anything you might be looking for, whether it's affiliated to business pre-law, or just a social environment. We also this past year welcomed about 7 new organizations, culturally based organizations. So again, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to visit our website to see the current organizations that we have on campus. In order for our transfer students to be eligible, the transfer students need to have at least 12 credit hours during matriculation at a college or university. That does not include pre-college courses like AP courses or things like that. So you have to have completed 12 credit hours. And just a quick little overview of highlights. We have over 700 students affiliated in our community. Each year we host several number of programs within social professional realm. Overall GPA from 2021 to 2022 was a 3.32. And our students are very driven in philanthropy and service. So if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them in the chat. But if you would like to email us and learn a little bit more, our email is there as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Thompson, and I am an Associate Director in our Department of Student Engagement and Activities. So like my friends on the call, our department is really dedicated to you as students and helping you get involved out of the classroom, helping you really make your collegiate experience. So our department oversees all of our recognized student organizations. So we have over 350 student organizations. That is correct. We have over 350 recognized student organizations. We welcomed close to 40 new clubs this fall. So it's the highest number of organizations we've had since pre-pandemic. So we're really excited on what's going on with our student leaders. Our organizations host thousands of meetings and events throughout the year, so there are plentiful opportunities for you as new students to be getting involved on campus. So through our department, we kind of have two large realms. So we have club and organization management, where we oversee the functioning of our student organizations, provide support to our student leaders, as well as we have our programs and traditions arm. So some of the things that Tori had mentioned earlier on the call, like our large scale campus programs, we work with the undergraduate student government really closely to put on some of those really big programs, such as Roth Gala, which is a really unique campus tradition here. We also offer events every weekend. So as someone that is transitioning to campus, we want you to know that if you don't know where to go, you can come to student engagement and activities events. We have student staff working those events. It's totally cool if you want to show up by yourself. It's totally cool if you just want to check it out and see what's going on campus. So we have a variety of things, and we try to switch it up. So there are craft events if that's something that you're interested in. We bring comedians. We do a lot of different things. So those are always going to be on our website or our student organization and events management site called SB Engaged. So if you want to click to the next slide. So when, I'm just going to skip this one, Tor. So when we're thinking about, ways to get involved on campus, there are lots of things that you can be doing. Like we had said, there are lots of student leaders that are here to support you, and we really support the students through, the club and organization lens as well as the programming lens. So what I was talking about earlier is SB Engaged. So there's a platform that we have on this campus that you will be using throughout your orientation experience and getting used to that experience and that platform. But there's two ways to look at it. So this system hosts all of our student organizations as well as departments that do programming, as well as all of the events that are happening on campus. So we view it as a one-stop shop for you to be seeing what's going on campus, as well as being able to explore student organizations. So all of you automatically have an account on this system. If you want to go to the next slide. So you can really, I'm not sure if you guys have access yet. I think you probably do if you have your Stony Brook email. But as soon as you have access, you can log in and you can explore organizations and departments. You can find an RSVP to events. You can track and manage your personal involvement on campus, and then you can stay informed with what's going on. So this is your personal profile, so you'll be able to log in and you'll be able to really change any preferences that you have. What kind of emails do you want to get? You know, what does your, how are you utilizing the system? So everybody will have their own individualized profile. And then once you're in the system, you can explore different things. So we're going to move to the next slide. So the main thing that you want to make sure is when you're in the system is to make sure you're logged in. Because if you're not logged in, you're not necessarily going to be able to see everything in the system because the host of the event has the ability to say who can view that event or not. And a lot of our student organizations and departments say that they want them to be campus only. So you'd have to be logged in to see them. So you'll have the ability to kind of decide, you know, oh, I want to see what's happening tomorrow. I want to see what's happening this weekend. Or you can search by different themes and categories. So I would suggest you just take some time to kind of click through the events features and see what's going on. Again, we are in intersession, so a lot of stuff is in the system, but there will be a lot more probably, you know, the end of January. A lot more will pop up as our student organizations, you know, get set to return from the break. And then speaking of student organizations, you have the ability to search for student organizations. So we have, again, over 350 recognized student organizations, and there are different categories that they fall into that are self-selected by the students. So we have, academic and honor society groups. So if you are looking to get involved in an organization that is focused potentially on your major or your career trajectory, you have the ability to do that. We have activism and advocacy groups, so people that are feeling passionate about particular global issues or local issues. We most likely have student organizations that are associated with those things. We have our campus departments that, you know, are large programmers. So for example, you know, my colleagues on the call, like in campus recreation and wellness, they'll have a lot of their programming up in the system. Community awareness and service. So those are service-focused organizations, either doing philanthropy or community service efforts. Cultural organizations, which is our largest subset of student organizations. So if there's a particular culture that you connect with or you'd like to learn more about, there's organizations like that. Fraternities and sororities, which Sixto touched on, they all have pages as well. Graduate organizations are focused on our graduate students. Leisure activities, so things that fall into that are like board games, like, you know, different things that are more hobby based typically fall into leisure activities. So the new one that we recognize this fall is Pokemon Go. So we have a new Pokemon Go club, which is really exciting. Media organizations, performance clubs, religious and spiritual, and then like Tom had touched on earlier, sport clubs. So again, a lot going on within the system. I did want to mention that we are going to be having 3 involvement fairs during the first 2 weeks of the semester. It's actually 4 involvement fairs, just 2 on the same day. So during campus lifetime, the first Wednesday of the semester, we'll be having our sport club involvement fair. That Friday, we'll be having our first multi-club or multi-category involvement fair. And then the following Friday, we will have the second half of our multi-club involvement fair, as well as in the evening, we'll have our fraternity and sorority life involvement fair. So that's a really great opportunity to get yourself out there, to actually meet other students and explore the different options that are on campus. Not all of our organizations will be there, but we'll have over probably 250 groups represented. So it's really a great opportunity for you to get involved. All of that information is currently being updated and will be on our website, as well as SB Engaged. And then there is a mobile version of the platform that you were going to want to download. It's called the Cork app. And what the Cork app does is it's CORQ if you want to download that, and you'd have to sign in with your Stony Brook credentials and click Our Campus. But what that will do is that will cull all of the organizational information as well as the event information into your phone. And you also will have the ability to download your event pass. So that's something that you're going to need for orientation, and you're going to need it for other things. But that's basically like your mobile ID card where you can sign into events and it will just, track it. Maybe there's something people are tracking attendance for different things, but it helps us to stay involved and informed about, do you guys like what we're putting on? Are you having a good time at the program? So it gives us the opportunity to really see what student engagement looks like on campus. And it also keeps you informed of everything that's going on. So that's my quick little overview of student engagement activities. We hope that you take advantage of some of the things that we have to offer. And I'm happy to answer any questions when we get to that section.
Hi, everyone. My name is Judy Jacquez. I'm the Associate Director for Multicultural Affairs. I use she, her, hers, or they, them, theirs pronouns. And basically our office, also under the Office of Student Life, mainly is responsible for engaging with students around issues of social justice, diversity awareness, inclusion, equity. And a lot of times we also will be involved in responding to any kind of bias in related incidents or helping students navigate issues of that nature. But we work a lot with student clubs and organizations, academic departments, offices on campus to bring to life a lot of our big traditions around diversity, celebrations of cultures, awareness days, and even on some occasions, trainings for students and different departments. So students do have an opportunity to get involved by joining one of the Diversity Month event planning committees that are made up of faculty, staff, and students. This is a great way for you to connect to issues, topics, or communities that you're very passionate about, and to network with your peers in the same interest, or network with faculty and staff or different offices around those cultural months or social awareness topics. We also will be meeting with all our new students. We do every semester to do a CWOS, This Is Us diversity workshop. And this is another touch point with our students to really express and talk to students about what are the priorities around diversity for the university, and to get you kind of acclimated to all the resources that are also available around diversity inclusion. Can you go to the next slide?
Judy, you're muted.
Have I been muted this whole time?
No, just now.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. So we have two centers that operate under our office. One is the Unity Cultural Center. It's been around since the late 70s, originally started by Black and Latino students, and it eventually evolved and has developed into a cultural center in its newest location in the new renovated Stony Brook Union. So when you come to campus, or if you're already here, come and stop by. We're on the first floor of the Stony Brook Union in the lobby, right off the main doors. You can follow our events because, like our other partner offices, we're also contributing to a full calendar of student life events. A lot of them are related to social justice issues or cultural awareness or celebrations. And it's also a cool place for students to hang out. We do have open lounge areas where students like to come and hang out with their peers or study or just listen to our music. But it's full of life, and we're really lucky to have a center like that. Other center is the LGBTQ Center. They are part of our LGBTQ services area of Office of Multicultural Affairs. And very similarly, only 5 years this year, we'll be celebrating its 5th anniversary, although the LGBTQ services has been around much longer, but the physical center is celebrating 5 years this spring. It's a really cool space on the second level of the West Side Dining Building. If you find yourself over there, take a walk upstairs and just take a look around, say hello. But it's a very cozy place to hang out. There are also events and activities that the LGBTQ services team, which they have student staff and interns as well, will implement throughout the course of the year. They do some of the things that are happening this year that have happened in the fall and will be taking place in the spring semester, for example, is that they had a Friendsgiving event that they call Rainbow Fall Feast for students who aren't able to go home or want to celebrate Thanksgiving with their chosen family and friends as well. There is also one of their big traditions in the spring is the Lavender graduation. So the LGBTQ community comes together to celebrate with their invited guests, a really great marker in their life, which is commencement and graduation. So if you want to follow any of their information, please look up their posts on Instagram or again on SB Engaged as well. We keep all of our stuff very current. If you're looking for any student employment or internship opportunities, we also post those on Handshake, which is a student resource on the Career Center's webpage, which you'll become very familiar with. And I think that's everything I have. If there were any questions.
Yeah, and so lastly, I want to say Student Life. You can follow us on Instagram at SB Engage, where we post about all the events that all the departments that just spoke are hosting, as well as anything else that's going on campus, and then some fun videos too, and some good resources. So this is our Instagram, if anyone wants to follow. And I know Student Life and Recreation will be taking any questions now that come in.
Thank you so much to all of our presenters from Student Life. At this time, I'd love to open the floor for questions from any of our wonderful attendees. I'd love to get the ball rolling with a question we got earlier for campus recreation that could be great for Student Life as well, which is how do students get a job at your departments?
Yeah, that's a good question. And Judy mentioned it toward the end of her presentation. Our openings will be listed for the most part on Handshake. So you'd register on Handshake, set up your profile, and then from there you can search for open positions. And I think that should answer it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Katie, do you want to answer for the video where we sign up for Handshake?
Yeah, so you are all going to be automatically given a Handshake account thanks to our Career Center. I believe you don't get access to it until we're a little bit closer to this semester. And I'm very sorry, by the way, if you can hear fire engines in the background of my call. If you can't, great. If you can, I'm so sorry. Yes, you can just go on, you'll be able to go on to Handshake and just sign in with your net ID and password, and you'll have access to everything around the start of the spring semester.
Great, thank you. Any other questions anyone wants to throw out there for our wonderful departments at Stony Brook? All right. If we have no questions, I think we'll end the session here. Thank you so much again to everyone that presented today from Campus Recreation and the Student Life Office. And thank you everyone for being here today and joining us. If you want to go back and watch the session, it will be available soon on our YouTube page. And have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you again.
See ya.